Hey everyone, it's Brento here. This is episode 4 of Dump City. From now on in the series, I think I'm going to be referring to this as Dump City because we're going to start building Dump City. In the last episode, we got our basic infrastructure set up for constructing buildings. If you're not familiar with how some of the game works, maybe check out some of the early previous episodes. And things are sort of working here. One of the tips was check your construction office. If it's empty, that means your workers are doing stuff. So it's empty. Another general tip is whenever you resume a game, I haven't played in a couple of days now, so just look at what's going on in your world, because sometimes there's weird things going on. One thing I noticed here was this demolition office. We built a bus and a garbage truck, but we never built anything else here. I was thinking, since we're tearing out this road here, I'm tempted to buy an excavator to speed this up. So let's buy one. So in this episode, I want to go over sewage and water. The previous playthroughs I've done of this game, you don't want to be doing the sewer and water later. Like the first one, time I tried it in the campaign, I kept adding water lines as needed, and it got a little messy. Like they were going all over each other. It was complete spaghetti, and from that, I learned that it makes a little bit more sense to at least have a general strategy, or at least have parts of your, water and sewer lines sort of planned out. And you don't necessarily have to, hit start build on, all the projects, but having them sort of laid out in advance, it like, honestly, it's not the most fun part of the game. Okay, like if this might not be the most exciting video, but nonetheless, at some point you want to do this. In general, when I build these lines, I like to get my water from the hills. So you'll notice down here in the menu, you have this water. So you can see all the pipes being visible for a bit here. So this one here is kind of your staple pipes. Like this is your water pipes. You'll notice you have 26 meter cube, 56, and 127. Okay, but if you look at the water processing, or the water pumps, or the wells, sorry, you have 70 and 215. And those numbers don't align with any of those pipe sizes. So it's kind of wonky how that works. You can't be perfectly efficient in matching, the pipes with the pumps. They're just odd numbers. Once the water gets pumped, it needs to be treated. So we have these treatment facilities that like the small one is 120 meter cube, and the big one does 300. And again, these don't line up. None of these numbers are between the extracting with the well and purifying it and the pipes. None of these line up. So for that reason, you just got to kind of get close as you can. You definitely don't want to have too narrow of pipes for the capacity of what's being pumped. But at the same time, you don't want to have them so much more than what it can be pumped that it's a waste. You can get water in various ways. There's also like you can get it from like the surface intake too. Here, I'll just show it just because. But the thing is, I find that eventually the water at the surface intake is, it can get a little polluted if you're not careful. And if you take water from a hill, it tends to always be cleaner because you're not building anything in the hills anyways. It's kind of an unused area. So I prefer using hills. Now I'm thinking once we do build a water system from San Francisco, we'll take it out of the hill here. But for Los Angeles, we can either use this one or this one. Or this one here. I'm thinking we should go over here. And later, I think Dump City might get its own water system. But honestly, you don't need water in an industrial zone. So, like, Dump City is not going to actually have houses initially. So, some of the industries that might need some water in this area, but the ones I'm thinking of using, I don't think need water. So, for the most part, since we're kind of expanding in this area here, this will be kind of where our development happens. I'm thinking this year would be the best place to set up our water well. Like in other games, gravity matters, so you can't just place a water well at the bottom and then pump water up to a house. It won't get there. So you have to add pumps, and the pumps in this game too. Again, I guess they're modeling the Soviet Union, the options at the time were not necessarily they're not the best of numbers, so you can't match anything. So you got this you get the small one and you got the big one here. The thing is, I always like the big one because it comes with a bunch of splits in it, and this is where I think it's a little, some of the options in the Soviet Republic are a little silly, for the era, and so this lets you have 3 inputs and it will pump out 3 outputs. Yet there's also this water switch, but if you think about it, this works the same way, and it's cheaper, but you don't get any pumping out of it, and it kind of limits your growth because you can only have 1 input. So what I like to do is instead of, and the pumps aren't that terribly expensive. Like here, if you look here, it's 71 work days, and it's a bit like a little bit of everything. It's not more than 2 tons of any. So I like to go with the big water pumps just in case. This is a pretty high hill though, so I don't know if it's going to need it that much, but it will need some pumping. And I like to put the pumps like between the houses and stuff, because you can't really use this narrow area in these residential zones for much else. So I like to squeeze pumps in. So I'm thinking perhaps one. We'll put a big pump right here if it fits. Let's see. Here. Yeah, the big water pumping station. Another thing too, all these buildings, all the electrical, all the water, all the sewer, pretty much every building you make has to have either a road connection or a path connection for it to be built, and once it's built, it needs it in case there's fires. So you don't want to just make the connection, then remove the path to save space. Because later, if there's a fire with something, it'll just disappear. And pumps also require electricity. So once we get, we have one power transformer here and one substation. But I like to run most of the lines after the fact because it's pretty easy to run electrical lines in throughout the city. So like you can't just add like a swimming pool anywhere in the city. That's kind of like you place it and then you build around it because it's a big structure. But power lines you kind of can wrap around stuff, so you don't typically lay them out first. Because if you lay them out first and then you put it like a line right, like you're just clipping a little bit of a field that you can't put a very big building in, you're wasting a ton of space, right? So it's kind of illogical to do the power first, unless you're like, we're building out here and it's a fully centrally planned area. But when I'm working in the city, the original city here, I like running the lines afterwards. So this here, okay, that's right. That's, I think, good. Now if we go close enough this way, oh, okay. So another thing is, if you don't like the way things are facing, hit the T button. So we want this to be kind of the area where it splits into other parts of the city. Yeah, this is a good spot because there's nothing else can go here. And we'll be able to run a fairly long line. Okay. Let's go close to this side as possible. There we go. Okay, so we got our pumping station, and unlike other games like City Skylines, where like the lines are just in the road, that's not true in this game. You have to build everything, and you have to consider gravity, and you got to consider capacity. So this is a much more realistic game than City Skylines. So right now there's plenty of capacity. Like if I were to put a water substations, so if I were to build one of these here, this might be enough water to supply the city as is. However, the city is going to get much bigger and much more populated, and I have played through the campaign and gotten into scenarios where I ran out of water. So in general, especially if you're going to go very, very densely populated, I wouldn't recommend having them too spread out. I'd put them I might put one here, another over here in this area, another in here, and they might all overlap, but that's kind of needed because later, and it's one of those things, once you've kind of built it, you can't just change it afterwards. So this is my second attempt at realistic mode, and lesson learned from the first one was have a little bit more density with your water substations. Now I'm just thinking here, where do we want water? I believe our like we don't need water as much as like heat. They like water in the houses, but a lot of right now they're more concerned they don't have electricity, right? And later on when we build apartments, we'll need the water. But for now, the people seem to be generally happy with their private equity houses, and it's not super urgent. But some of the factories do need water, so we'll have a look here. Yeah, so look at the food factory. It uses 8.5 cubic meters of water, maximum production. Same with our booze factory. So we're going to need to bring water there for sure, very quickly. I'm thinking of putting another pumping station here because I do want this to go pretty far. This is fairly flat, and I never want to see a water pressure issue. Like, I'd like to avoid getting water out of that hill, and that hill's a little far away. So Like I think we're gonna have to deliver realistically water all the way up to this outer perimeter. Like, so I think we're gonna need another, um, you know, water pump. And again, they're not like if you look at the price, you have 10 work days. Usually, it's the work days are the number one currency in this game. It's not the cost of the goods; it's the cost of time. It's like it operates in real time. I should probably be like I have it paused right now just because um, when I'm explaining things, I don't want to get interrupted in the middle of it. Like, oh no, there's an earthquake or something, or uh, there's something wrong with the construction workers. So I'm going to keep it paused while we sort of lay this out. And this way, there's no pressure. You can take your time and think. So I think we'll build another big water pump. And I think, okay, so we got one here. So I think we'll probably branch one out. We'll have a water substation right nearby. And don't forget too, like if we're going to get the water from the hill, um, as we expand around here, we can have some other direct lines going to, uh, the buildings. So we're just gonna we'll do the biggest pipe we can to the city, the max size water pipe, and we can add three more or two more in parallel with it later if we want to, right? If it needs it, but we'll start with one. But as we get the water out of the hill here, we can expand our network. So I'm not too concerned with any water. Like the point is, the water service we're going to get out of this one, we're going to split. There's like three outputs, right? One of them I think can serve here. The other can serve over here, but of very little urgency. And the middle one I think just branches out. You don't want them too close together either, like the pumps themselves, because it's kind of, watch an expert at this game and they'll probably explain to you all the rules for the pumps. I don't know specifically, but I just like the distances I'm choosing. I'm kind of choosing based on my previous observations of distances that work, and you can go pretty far. Like these pumps will give you a pretty good range. So I'm thinking. And again, we like later on we can add a big pump here and a big pump here, right? So if we don't have enough water in this zone, we can add some later. It's not a, but I'm more like I want to. The key here is to get some water to these factories because they won't be making us any money without water. Yeah, I think we'll go with a switch right here. Because I think if we expand out from this, we're not going to expand much further. So we'll put a switch here, and then we can fit in a few. Because this will definitely be able to service our factories, and we got a little bit of dead space here. So like we can fit a nice corner here. It's essentially not using up any prime real estate. I think we'll put it right there. And okay, then we'll add a little walking path. Because it can't be built without a walking path. Oh, we already have. We'll probably tidy up these walking paths later. Like right now, we're just using mud for a lot of stuff, and because it's free, it's the best value. Just build as much stuff as you can out of mud. Okay, so from this switch, I just want to double check underground, make sure our directions are correct. Yeah, so we'll have a big one. Actually, we could put that in right now. So this is going to be a big water pipe because even though we're not going to use close to the capacity right away, we're digging a hole like this. It's a lot of effort to dig it out, and I think it needs a lot of aggregate, but this is a one-time deal, right? I don't want to, when you hit the, like when you connect these things and you hit the scroll, it smoothens things out. So there we go. So this is a pressurized pump of the widest pipe. And for a city that's going to be fairly big, go with the widest pipe. This will easily, like this could expand a couple more times more. Like this could become, it could split again, and I could have a medium. Like this could be a couple of mediums and a small, because you can get, well, 2 mediums is almost as big as a large pipe. So 2 of these become medium lines. Like you can't go bigger than big, right? So it's definitely worth it. And later on, you don't want to be replacing water lines. I don't know if you saw what was going on in Calgary, in Canada, a year or two ago, but they had a boil water advisory because their main water line, they couldn't fix it. The city was just a gong show for months, and it's supposedly a nice city, but they had a main, like the main line like this, essentially. The pump and the line were broken, or they didn't build it to enough capacity, so it was poor planning. Okay, so now that we have that, let's build our first substation. So the key here is we want water here, and I want it very specifically. See if we can get it right in here, right in the middle of it. Actually, around here, between the, if we can get in here. Oh yeah, T button. So you flip it around here. You can't, like, there's not much else that can happen in this spot I'm building it. Maybe it's electric substation that can be built here, but a little bit there, maybe a little bit of an angle right there. Build ourselves a path. Again, it can't be built. If it doesn't have a path, it cannot be built. The pipe we're using here is 26 meter cubed. Because that we had 127 coming in, we now have about 100 left. So we could split 2 mediums off that junction. Okay. And I think we're going to have enough water pressure. Like we do have a pump fairly close. I think it should be enough. If this one doesn't work early on, that's okay. It's like, if we have to do, if this is just too far and I have to make this into another pump, we'll know right away, right? But you don't want that to be a problem later in the game once you, like the city, you got like 20 factories in this area, and like they all go down at once. So make a nice rounded pipeline there. That's not bad. You know what? I think I'm going to make that a little straighter. So again, the best way to remove components is to use the tool. Because if you use the bulldozer to demolish things, it just demolishes everything. It'll demolish the pipe, it'll demolish the road, it'll demolish your path. So I think we'll go with a slightly different approach here. We'll curve it like that. And then we'll go like that. And then we'll round it. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm thinking about where the sewer line is going to go. And you don't want these crossing over too much. Like, you want to think of the water line will come in one way, and then the sewer line will come out the other way, but they never directly touch. As best as possible. Sometimes you're gonna have some spots where they go above each other, but sewer lines are a little trickier than water lines. So we'll start with the water lines. Getting the water is the first step. You can't have the sewers don't do much without the water lines. Thinking there might be a sewer line at some point here. I want to leave a channel, and I don't want the sewer to this is a nice lake. We don't want to ruin the quality of, Los Angeles and San Francisco here by putting crap in the water right on the beach. It's probably they're not going to like that. They'll be very disappointed in their property value. This here, this seems like the spot for it to go. So it's a bit of a journey to get the sewer lines this far, but the dump city needs its own lake. This will be an experiment for later. There is an agenda in this game, okay? All right. So that's that's getting from the pumping station to the substation. We do need electricity, so actually let's do that now. I just to emphasize the point. There we go, and we'll check the range. There we go. We've got the food factory too, so that's one of its power sources. So if there's ever a fire in the substation, we'll have backups. You'll notice you have blueprints in different modes. Here, you'll notice there's nothing. I click there. But if I go to the electrical, see, I never launched the construction of this. So while in the construction, those blueprints are now scheduled to be built. I'm just going to leave it medium priority. The thing with the water line, it's kind of a one-shot deal. Once you've kind of put the time in to plan your water system, you don't have to think about it much later. Just be mindful that you don't when you the biggest mistake you'll make if you're in a campaign or anything is something like this, going, oh yeah, I'll put this down, I got enough water supply for my city, and not realizing only 20 cubic meters can come out of that. So, and the city, that area will use hundreds. So yeah, it won't work. You'll just have massive water shortages and you'll be struggling. And if you're watching this and you're early in the campaign, it's probably what you're dealing with right now, is fixing what you did. But hey, I did the same thing, right? I have my saves and it's complete spaghetti. You don't know how much water anything uses, but I'm just telling you it uses a lot, and you want to have them fairly close, like 100 meters or so apart, might be in some areas even. From what I understand, the way the water works is when the construction workers work, they access the pipes from, they go into the paths, they go to the switches, into the pumps, and to the stations, and they then can build the pipes from there. So you have to build these first before you can build some of the pipes. Because it's not too urgent to have the water yet, I'm going to set these both to low priority. Ideally you want all these buildings to finish the same time. You want your water, your electricity, and your workers all available at the same time as your factories. So I'm going to just set that to low priority, but we're not done yet. We still got to get our water. Okay, so the big plumbing line itself is 127 cubic meters. But the actual water we can produce, okay, there's two steps we got to do here first. So the water in this game, it comes out in a certain purity. So when you set these water pump, or sorry, where's the water wells here? Yeah, so we have a surface intake option. You'll notice the water quality is 78%. The problem with that is usually they want 95%, and the higher it has, like the lower quality to begin with, the more you got to spend money on chemicals to make it better. So the two water wells you start with 95%, but the small one, see, the big water well, it maybe later if we'll have enough people in the area, but in general, you don't want to create fake jobs for people. Like the big water well needs 7 people to operate. The small water well needs none. So even though you get 3 times the output as the small water well for less than half the price, it's still not worth it, because the small water well doesn't require the workers, and getting workers up in the hills, it's not easy. It's just one other pain in the ass. So I much prefer going with a series of small ones than a big one. Now each water well can do 70 meter cube, so 2 of these will saturate a big a water pipe, right? Because the big water pipe per day does 127 meter cube, but 2 of these will saturate. But what I'd like to do though is I like to have a bit of a manifold. So even though we're already on a hill, I always like to build these water towers, because they're just a quick way to inspect whether you got an issue, because there should always be some water in the water tank. Now, in the past, I've always gone with the big one, but I've also gone off the fiscal cliff with the big one before too. So I think I'm going to try a smaller one this game. We need a water treatment facility as well. And very quickly here, I want to just check a water pumping station, or sorry, our small well. So just want to see if we have a nice, we got 95%. I don't know how much these can overlap each other, but we can get a few of them on this hill. So they'll flow down, so we won't need a pump up in the hill. Okay, each game I've played, I've never needed more than the small water treatment facility. It could just be that, and the price difference of 1,800 days for the big one. I think we're going to go with the small one. And if we need another one later, we'll just build another one beside it. Like this does, how much? 120 meter cube per day. Like it's a third the cost, but it's better than a third the production. So, and capital is an issue in this game. We can't be wasting money. So in terms of value, it seems like it's more worker efficient with the big one. But like in the last, I haven't played a game yet where I've needed the big one. Like the small ones have been more than enough. So I think we'll put it. I think we'll put it a little close to the city. See, if we're close, like this building here, it doesn't produce any pollution, so I'm okay with building it a little closer to the city, so we don't, like, it'll always be manned if it's close enough, right? However, we don't need too many people working here. Yes. I think that's good enough. All right. So from that, we'll build big pipeline here. I'm going to use this pump here. Oh, so you gotta look underground here. I'm going to use the one in front here because we then have the option later of adding another one, branching off it in case it, the load isn't exactly what we thought it would be. I don't think there'll be any other. Actually, there could be. See, later if we need to add a second line from the hills that wraps around here, we could connect into this pump. So that's another reason why to use these 3 and 3s. They're really good. So we'll do that. Yeah, that's as smooth as it gets. Looks kind of clean. Yeah, and there'll be workers show up there. And this one needs electricity as well. I'll do that afterwards. And then we got to bring the water from the mountains. Look at that perfectly logical path. Sometimes when you drag it from the other way, it seems to work a little more logically. So we'll drag it from this side. And then like that. Zoom out a bit. Want to curve it that much? I like the straight line of it. It's a little like 666. Well, we got to go with that, I think. That cannot be incorrect. There we go. So that will be, this will be gravity fed. The other advantage of the bigger water tower is it's effectively a switch as well. Like you can go 2 in, 2 out. So we can only get 1 pump into this. Let's just go with the big one. I don't. It looks a little better too, I guess. But we'll build ourselves. There's an underground one here. Just trying to. Oh, it holds a lot too. How many options does that have to connect? 2 in, 2 out. How does that work? It looks like there's a. I've never tried this one. I think this one I've tried. I've never built one. Maybe we should build one just because I've never built one. Let's try it out. Oh my god, why is it go that far? It's going down. I think it's going down. Looks like it is. Guess we'll find out. Let's have another look. Actually, another way to turn on the perspective appears to be down. It's not going up. I think that's probably good enough. There might be some means with that. Alright. You just connect it to the rest here. So yeah, we need to set up our 2 water wells. We'll do 2 small ones. These require roads to get built, so this can be a tricky thing in the hills. Oh, 95%. Pretty sure that's a higher altitude. It looks definitely a higher altitude. 95. Okay, there we go. And they produce 70 automatically, but the pipes are 56. There we go. Nice and smooth. And then we go up here. Looks nice, looks nice. It's another one. Okay, so we got 70, 70. merging together, and then they're capped at 126, so there's 14 meter cubed of water being wasted. But if something needs 14 meter cubed in this area, you can do it. And then we could always add like other pumps in the area too, but this is just free. It's just there. Just connect to it. We have a little bit extra for a hypothetical. Yeah, we got to connect these by road too. We're not done yet. Okay, so the roads can be tricky in the hills, and there's grade and stuff, right? I think I'm going to adjust the position a bit here. Just wasted money. It's probably a few thousand rubles thrown in the garbage. Yeah, let's just do this so that it's a slightly different position, so that we can make the driving a little easier. Yeah, let's put it this way here. Okay, 95%. Okay, that's lower down too. And then let's make the road a little better. There we go, nice and smooth. It is above ground. Okay. So now we build our road. It's going this way now. It's already facing the right way at least. Wiggle their way down the hill. Yeah, that's basically the water lines. We've got to get some power up here too. I think I'm going to maybe do that a little bit between episodes here. Okay, so the next thing is the sewer. And as far as I know, the only way to get rid of sewage is with these sewage discharge components. And there's nothing else. There is sewage treatment, but I haven't found a purpose to treat the sewage. Like, it just seems like that's maybe it's a real life scam. They talk about fake economies and stuff. Maybe it's one of those things that the market doesn't really need, because on this game at least, you just choose a lake. Like, even putting treated sewage doesn't, like, you're spending money to get the water to a certain quality, and I want to make a big lake full of crap anyways, so it's kind of like why would I do that? It's just a little hard to get here, but in the previous game, this is one thing I did. Actually, and there's a couple of tips here too. Let's see if I can get this done in less than 45 minutes. Okay, so sewage, I think because we're not going to do the treatment, because no sensible person does, or at least in this game, the idea is just to pump it out as fast as you can. So if we're going to have a sewer line coming from Los Angeles, I think this here would be a good spot. Let me just rotate the input a bit. And you got to get these half on the shore and half off. So you look for where the dots are, and try to get it. You want it's a little bit rounded there. Here could be good. Come on. This is also the approach of just going around till you think you see it turn yellow or green. It's another approach. You might have to go over here. Like Dump City might have some sewage discharge too, so maybe they'll all face this way. Just I don't want to have too long of a line into LA. Okay, and this isn't like the super highest priority kind of thing to build, but I want it, you know, the general grid laid out. Once you have the general strategy, like it's not something you want to be thinking about later, because later, like you might not have room for any of these buildings, or the pipes will have to run really weird routes, and if you don't have a main trunk built, at least adding you know, sewage lines is a big project. So you kind of want to have this slowly getting built as you go. It doesn't have to be built by winter. Like they can crap in buckets basically until then. But and they seem to be happy with that. But they're even happier when they have working toilets. Okay, I think we need an excavator. Where's our excavator? Let's find our truck. So if you ever want to find a vehicle, you just, you know, go to the depot, and then, well, you know, it doesn't even work that way with the depot. Yeah, once they're on the route, another way to find it is just to look for your lines. We haven't had a need for this yet, but line planning is definitely something that I played the whole campaign. It wasn't to the end that I kind of understood the nuance. Like when you have a route, actually, let's just do this quick now. Just just a little side step here. When you set your routes with the depot here, like I did, where we said, let's go pick up that, you know, a vehicle. Here, just I want to have it loaded whilst. Okay, there it's coming. So this will make our terraforming a lot easier. So we're kind of waiting on this anyways. It's a good time to explain it. So this is, let's say, each vehicle. If we click on it, it has a route, okay? But it also has a line. So if I were to, for example, load the line of this, like, if I load the line view of that, it's not the same as the vehicle, even though if you look, you see it goes to custom house, to construction office. It has the same, doing the same things, but one of them's a line. So this is the instance of it, and this is kind of like the template of it is your line. So later, when we have some very specific lines we set up, like for now, I'm just so I know what this is. I'll call this machine pickups, right? This is not something that you typically, and you got to save the name too. So this is the machine pickup. So now when we look at the vehicle, it tells it's assigned to this line, right? But let's say I'm like, well, after going to, okay, it's heading, where is it now? Oh yeah, so it's heading to the construction office. But let's say afterwards, I want to add a stop. Okay, and let's look here. See the list of lines, machine pickups, but I add a stop in the context of the vehicle. Like afterwards, I then want it to go, I don't know, we'll go to Canada here. Now watch what happens. We got a new line. Why? Because I had the context of the vehicle at the time. So that's actually not like, even if you have a single vehicle on that line, you don't want to generally alter the route while in the context of the vehicle. Like I almost don't like the fact that when you select the vehicle, you can quickly do that, because then you get all these extra lines. You're like, what is this line? Like, what it should do is it should, like, or at least what, just keep this in mind. In general, uh, you, if you want to adjust the line, you, so what the better thing here is I'm going to delete the line. Okay, so now this vehicle is doing this, but I'm going to delete the line. What's going to tell me there's a vehicle on it? Okay, so let's find our vehicle again, wherever it went. There it is. Okay, so now this is, you see its new route here. So we go to here. I'm going to set the line. So currently that you see there's one vehicle doing this because I assigned it to the instance of it. I want to fix that. You load up the line. So this is the line view. And then I want to assign it to the vehicle like that. Now that previous one disappeared, and it seems to automatically remove. So when you make those temporary ones, they no longer appear in the list, but once you name it, it stays there. So you'll notice it was there. So now this is, see, the correct way if I wanted to do it is in line view, then add Canada. Okay, because then when I save it, it's still called machine pickups. So you're going to be you lose if you do it on the instance of the vehicle. You have to rename it each time what that vehicle's doing. So it's kind of annoying, especially annoying with bus stops and some garbage routes, where each time you're doing something, you're altering your route, you have to rename it. But if you're altering the line, you don't. So that's the thing I didn't know until recently. But going to Canada is kind of silly. So that's the line. So we'll save that so we don't create some weird thing. What's this one doing? Oh, this was a demolition one. Did I buy that? Oh, maybe I did buy one. I did buy one. Oh well, we got 3 of them now. It's not a bad thing. I think 3 or 4 is pretty good for most situations. Like, they're quite regularly in use, especially when you got a lot of trenching to do. So they'll be used extensively for our projects, excavating. We might even set up another excavation office, especially once this depot's done, and we can get some workers from around here. No, we got to get the road connectors first. Yeah, I should probably keep things running in the background regularly, just so they get caught up here. So where did that truck go? Where is it? Actually, you know what? This is, we may as well just send that. Send that there. Well, where is? It just disappeared. Okay, I'm going to pause it. This is driving me crazy. There's an open hull one there. Where are you? In the first campaign I played, there was, I set these routes, and I had my construction offices, and I noticed, like, hours into the scenario that I had, like, about a quarter of my vehicles were just sort of in the middle of nowhere doing who knows what. Like, they went off, they couldn't find a construction office, they ran out of gas, they're just parked out. Like, if you don't have those gas, like if you saw in the previous episodes, you gotta set up your gas stations. It's like, that's what prevents them from wandering out to, like, they look around for gas. There it is. It's just going to be nighttime here. I imagine electricity, like they do complain about it. Yeah, see, they complain a little bit about the drinking water. There's other things we can do with drinking water too. We can give them technical services. We'll do that in the next episode. But generally, you don't want to rely on vehicles to bring your water. So once we get this here, we can start We need this actually to build our sewage discharge building. What's it doing? Oh, it's going to the wrong destination. Oh, see what I have the wrong destination. That's why. Because I'm so stupid. That is wrong. So we got to set that as the destination. Gonna turn around. Get rid of that stop. Now we're altering the instance of it, which is what I'm gonna delete it right after, anyways. We're gonna have 2 excavators there now. Oh well. I'll keep an eye on that demolition project. There we go. Okay, can I assign this here? No. Oh, come on. Can I pick this up? What's it doing? Okay, I'm going to clear the route. See if I can pick that up. Load a vehicle. Well, unload. Oh, damn it, I can't even move that. Oh, this is so painful. Okay, so another thing, you can just put it directly on the vehicle right here. And actually, you know what? I was talking about this anyway, so let's build it. This is the time to build it. Let's build our second construction office. Yeah, it's a bit of a detour. I'll do this as quick as can. Yeah, this is why I kept one unbuilt, just because sometimes in an emergency, like you don't want all of them locked up, but we're going to be building a lot of stuff in this area, maybe even right here. We're really close to projects here. And again, this is a temporary one, so let's send these over. Yeah, we don't need to pause anyone. So we'll send these both over here. And I'm going to send this one. I don't know what it's doing. I'll send it to the demolition office. We'll get there in a few days. I should be hauling it, but I think it's more fuel efficient that way. It might be, because it's less vehicle. More fuel efficient, but not very time efficient. Okay, what is it? Oh, it's automatically going to, oh, no. No. So I've got to set it to 0, and I've got to clear all these. So automatically scanned. Okay, come on, go back in. We have to turn around. I don't know if that's 100 yards. I hope that doesn't automatically go there too. Good, okay. Yeah, we need it to stay in the construction office. This is realistic mode, okay? It's not as fun as the normal mode. So we just need to get one here. It needs to stay in there, and then we can build our sewage discharge. So I think it might make sense to have it's going to be a main line here, okay? And you need a lot of pumps and a lot of mergers to do sewer. So if we do our main sewer line right here, because then I could grab everything from this side. It could even wrap around here. I don't think we can go under the lake. Okay, I think we have to go around. So it kind of makes sense to have a junction around here for sure, because then stuff from the east, west, north can all go south. I think that's south. I don't know what direction that is, but let's find the sewer so there's these things called the sewer switches. So there are some missing machines or some missing options. We saw earlier the option for water merging. It's just not there. I wish it was. Maybe they'll have it in like it'll be a research. That'd be an idea for a technology later, like you upgrade better switches or something. And there's also some missing sewage ones too. For now, all you get is this one here. And there is no multi-pumper, so you have to use these. But since 3 are going into 1, I think this is a good spot, because this is a bit of a dead zone, and we're kind of okay. We want to have this in a place. Actually, maybe a little over here, because we got the water lines are going to be an issue. Maybe. Yeah. I think. See, the sewer line should collect on this side of it slightly. Maybe over here. Yeah, right around here, maybe. I'm going to take off the snapping. Snapping can be a pain sometimes. Right there's not bad. Like, that's kind of not much else, because it's kind of the backyard of a house, If you have anything unusual in your backyard, you ever wonder what that is? Like, what's that structure in my backyard? What's it do? Some of us get these very nearby. I'll tell you what it is. Probably better you don't know what that is. Okay, I want to make it. I don't want to spend money on a path there. I want to get the free path. Like, I could upgrade that later, but it's all like it doesn't have any regular servicing required, so I probably won't. Okay, so now just look. Okay, so now we got a line that comes this way, and there's no real way to do it, but we do have some clearance at least. And I want to. Okay, we might have to move this a bit. I'm not sure if that's going to be in the way. Okay, what I do know though is this is going to be a big, high capacity pipe in this general area going out this way, and possibly more. They might be coming in from other areas. There might be another that comes through here. We'll probably cut through here later, but we definitely want one in the middle. Sewage capacity in my previous game was an issue, so we're gonna fork a bunch of these even. I might even let's put another one right. I think this is the correct thing to do. Yeah, put one around here. I'm not sure if we need an actual pump for this one, but I think I'll put one anyways, just in case. We'll see. We'll see if we can get away with it. Okay. So first test is, can I go over that without? And I think this will be a main one, a big sewer. You see that? So again, you got all kinds of different numbers with the sewer pipes here. 37, 75, 170, and the amount of each one does 12. So each small sewage pipe can have 3 sewage tanks basically. But I think we'll just put 1 or 2 off this one because we'll continue to branch because it's going to be branching and branching. I think this will also be a full capacity. Yeah, like we don't know where the main load's gonna go into the sewer, so we've got to experiment a bit. Okay, so we can do that without a pump, so that's kind of nice. Okay, so the way sewage pumps work, this is again, I didn't understand this initially. They work differently than like if you played Satisfactory. Or like the water pumps. The water pumps in this game work very similar to like the water pressure system. Works similar to Satisfactory in that it, there's pressure and it moves a certain amount of water, a certain uh, elevation and or distance. I don't know if Satisfactory has a distance rule, but it definitely has an elevation rule. Um, and there's velocity of water too, like all these things to consider. The sewers, however, they actually just pump. You don't pump the crap. Okay, it slides down and it does it diagonally. So think of it as you're building like a sawtooth. Okay, and once it gets to the bottom, it just pumps it goes up vertically. That's all it does. It's just a vertical lift. And the options you have here depend on how long and how slow the decline is. Like if you're going to have, because this is a fairly short connection, I can go with a 5-meter one here. I might not even really need this, but I'd rather be safe than sorry here because this is going to be a main branch right here. So I'm going to put a little pump in. It might not be necessary, but and you put it at the end of it. So for each link you do, as you're going closer and closer to your destination, the pumps themselves are like biasing towards the destination. So in each link. So between these two, where are we here? Between these two switches here, it would go on this side, right? But we don't have a good spot to put it, which is kind of sucks. Okay, that might be good. Just a very, very tight fit there. Okay. Now the question is it going to bump? Okay, we're good, I think. It's kind of weird though. So if it can do 170 meter cube and each sewage tank does 12, that means we can fit roughly 13, 14 sewage collection. So look at that, it's very tight. If I round it, it goes just enough that it will clip that, but that's okay. 2.25, a little over 2 mediums is the same as a large one here. So I think like it probably will put a sewage one like I'm not going to connect all the later. Like I'm just putting the main grid in, right? Because like there'll probably be like a sewage tank around here, and a sewage tank here, maybe one around here, or this might continue as a medium line. Like this, it'll probably be just this one, and maybe one more merge. Actually, no, I don't think so. Oh no, yeah, one more merger just outside of town here, and we will build it right around there. Maybe there. We gotta get that path connection to it. Yeah, probably there. Get ourselves connection. Just make sure there's no issues with that. Okay, that works. And I think I'll go with another 5. This whole area, like this little zone, we want to kind of maximize. I think we'll put a sewage tank, like an actual collector, right here, but not necessarily right away. Actually, make sure it fits. Just put it there. I don't know if we'll use it, and that would just have to be the smallest sewage pipe. Just get that underground, and we'll put another 5 as close as possible. We'll go with, this is the main line, right? This is never like, and we're also giving some forethought into future parallel lines. So, you know, we don't want to eliminate that possibility. Like in theory, we could run another line, like around the coast here. We're not cutting anything off. That's okay. So that's our second pump, and yeah, then we run it to here. So when it goes out of the switches, it's it doesn't get pumped out once it gets like at maximum altitude. Okay, so we'll give it some clearance. Like that. I think it's cheaper if I go with. It's kind of a balance right there, I think. You might want to run like a heat line or something between them. So this is our main sewer line. And yeah, and from there you add your sewers. Like I wish these things could be like running them under the roads and stuff is so nice in city skylines, but having to actually deal with these pumps, it'd be nice if there was a way that was a little more automated. But yeah, you have to put the effort into this. This game is this is realistic mode, right? We're not playing playing pretend communism here. This is real communism. Okay, so in general, we're working our way down here, right? Like we built one sewage tank, right? And you can almost see how they work here, what their range is. So this will make this area kind of nice and desirable. We want to, especially where they work, has to be the, you know, where stuff gets made. It has to have the best amenities in communism. You don't give top of the line stuff to financiers. It's not economically sound. But they'll tell you, you know, that without them, the decisions can't be made accurately, and that everyone else is buffoon. And then, how can you argue with that? There's no counter arguments to that, right? Because that's just how it works. Okay, so I want to, yeah, and we'll definitely have some other lines here that branch out. As demanded, we'll build our sewer system. At least we got this main trunk. This cannot be denied later. Like for example, if we were running a bunch of independent nodes and we had heat and water, and they're like, how are we going to get this sewage line over there? And we had to wrap it all around the city. You know, waste of time, waste of money, and forethought is worth a lot. Okay, so let's remember we're using the 5mm or 5 not millimeter. Wouldn't be a very effective way. We're using the 5-meter ones. When we're going these long distances here, I think we can do this in a single 15-meter in this area here. right? Just want to check on that friggin' excavator. You know what? This whole time it wasn't a construction office that was the issue. It was the range. There's someone watching this right now, not just laughing how stupid I am. And I did know this. I sort of knew this. I've come across this once or twice. Yeah, we just need them to be. Oh, it's good we have well, we can use a depot. I was wrong. Forget that statement I said earlier about depots not working. Yeah, they can work. Just we got to be in range. In there. Okay, so we'll send them over there. We do need this construction office to really, like these two buildings, well, this one especially. Oh, it's under construction. Very nice. Our electrical, like, oh, we got stuff getting built here. See, it just builds on its own. That's it. It's so cool. Okay, but anyways, we'll just load this on the truck. And the problem was it has a range. So it'll head over there. Once we get the technology to build the general separation, that's kind of when all the focus is going to be in this area. And we're as long as we have a lot of people working, we'll take them by buses at first. Maybe we'll connect it by metro, make a big loop. I'm thinking like a metro system that goes around this lake, maybe under the lake here. Just loops around. But we need ourselves one of those 50-meter lifts, and it has to be on this end because it has to be very low. But since we're about to run into the lake here, I think right here, actually let's do a check here for topography. So this is, okay, we are going up a little bit here. Maybe we should put a one right here. Like to get from, well, I gotta be careful, even those 5-meter ones are at risk now. So we've got to go up here, but yeah, nothing else is going to branch into this one. I think each one of these lines is a meter. So if we're at this altitude, where are we here? So this one's at, it's got to go up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 meters. No, sorry, we're only going here. We're going here. Where are the lines? So 15 should be enough. Like it should be going downhill if we go 15 meters down. There might be some sort of check, but this is, so we're only going 5, 6. Hold on. Let's count the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where does this one go? Oh, it goes down again. Okay, but then 8. Okay, so it's 8 meters up, but 15 down. That's gotta work. Yeah, I'd rather, I'll roll the dice. Oh, there we go. Let's see if we can finally build this. I think it's gotta work. No, 8 times the charm. There we go. I'm gonna raise, line up a bit. Where should we use it? Right. Okay, maybe a little bit bigger. Oh, yes. We're gonna confirm business here. So this is kind of off the beaten path. It'll line up nicely with the other stuff around here. And we do it. Is it gonna work? Have we achieved utopia? Oh, we're gonna take off the grid. The grid can be problematic. It doesn't seem. Oh, yeah, look at that! I just noticed that. I've never noticed that before. Your excavator gets. Okay, so this would be a nice Nice square line. Let's see if we can get it on now. Go back to our search. This is a crappy job. I'm gonna try not to swear too much. See if I can go whole videos without swearing. Come on. What is the issue? Oh, it's there. It's just not sharp enough. Make it nice and linear. This will be part of the waterfront of Dump City in the future. You know, there's future plans here. But this will go up. The future of Dump City. This is the waterfall. So we'll put a hotel around here. I wonder how many stars. I wonder if we can keep it full. Definitely need hotels. And again, we have to have enough money to do that. Like, I'm only going to do that if we're not bankrupt. I don't know if we can avoid being bankrupt in this game, though. Come on. Oh, it's so close. Yeah, you can see the dots coming out. And it's going to be nice and low. So I wonder if grid. No, you can't do grid snapping. This doesn't seem to snap it. There's a way to automatically get this, like, I don't know if there is, but if there isn't, it would be an idea. But if there is a way to automatically just create like edges on shores, that would be a nice tool to have in the game. Alright. Sometimes it takes a few attempts at this. Oh, there we go. There we go. We'll put it on the grid now. So we're going to get lucky with the grid. Oh, yes, we're on the grid too. So everything's Millhouse right now. Yeah, let's run it that way. One other thing. I learned this the hard way last time. And I'm going to do this right away. You can put it in the video. It's a few extra minutes. Is when you build these pumps, they take electricity. So you can get your sewage pretty far away. But if you don't have a substation, it is not going to work out. Okay, so I'm going to allow for a line to come from that, a main line to come from, you know, the left and the right of this. So this will be the middle line. And on the grid. Is that too close? No, it's good. See the big pipe connected this shorter distance. I want to see that. I want to see what's happening. Sometimes you can just hope it's connected, but it's not connected. So there you go. See how it works? It'll lift, right? So this is 15 meters. It goes down a little bit here. I think if it's even level for a bit, you get a little bit of buffer. And then we're actually going up a 7 meter, 8 meter hill here. In theory, we should be okay. But if not, well, it's better to learn this early on. But I don't want to waste time and money on something that I'm not sure is a real issue. So this is a big, very, very slow trickle. That's how that works. Yeah. I'm going to not round that. That's just the way it's going to look. Okay, and yeah, we'll add the power line substation. And because the entire city will clog up and crap if there's a fire in one of these things, you want to have more than one. So, oh my god, no, okay. Alright, this isn't good. Okay, I'm going to hit pause here. We got ourselves an earthquake. Our fire station's not even built yet, so luckily we don't have anything that's of any value. Usually, in the previous ones, when earthquakes happened, um, you know, early on, if one of the private houses catches fire, you don't care. But let's just get our electric substation in, and later we'll put another one on this side too, right? So it has more than one way of getting electricity. But we'll work this one out. Here it goes. So this will be the furthest reach you can, right there. And I think we're going to need to splice a line off here. Yeah, we're going to have to run power here. I think I'm going to do a little bit of stuff between episodes here. I don't know what's going to happen with this earthquake. Like, it is possible we lose our church, even though it's probably not a big deal, but it could catch fire here, and our fire station's not built yet. So I guess we'll find out in the next episode. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.